discussion as we lead up to the Big Baraza that is coming up. With us today, I have Kenon, who is our wealth and investments expert at the Sandbox. I have Vera Kumar, who is a country manager for Zoho Africa, the country manager for Zoho Kenya. I have Mary Gitari, who is our PR expert at the Sandbox, and is our moderator for the evening. My name is Wendy. I'm from the Sandbox. I work as a community manager, and at Sandbox we are a home to over 30 business series that pride themselves in supporting entrepreneurs in various ways, including HR, marketing, PR. The list is endless, 33 of them. We are currently located at CMS Africa House along Chania Avenue on the ground floor, and you can visit us or send us an email at karibu@sandboxgroup.com. For those who are not aware about the Big Baraza, which is why we are here today, the Big Baraza is a conference for SMEs by SMEs that brings together different institutions and business, from government stakeholders to private investors, and to name a few, to discuss anything and everything that entails in business and how can we support the entrepreneurs in our ecosystem. Currently, we are very excited to be hosting the Big Baraza on the 29th and the 30th of July. That is next week on Monday and Tuesday at JW Marriott. And personally, I'm really looking forward to meeting so many entrepreneurs. If you haven't bought your ticket, you can still buy your ticket today at bigbaraza.co.ke for a one-day ticket that's going for 12,000 shillings, or a two-day pass that's going for 22,000 Kenya shillings. I am very excited and I look forward to seeing all of you at the Big Baraza. I want to hand it over to Mary, who will be our moderator for the next 1 hour and carry the conversation for us. And she will do the introductions for our speakers, for Vera Kumar and Kenon. Thank you so much, Mary, and over to you.
Thank you, Wendy. Wendy is our community manager at the Sandbox. If you visited the Sandbox, you have seen her beautiful smile at the reception. And if you haven't, this is a big reason to come to the Sandbox. So I just want to jump into this conversation today because we are super excited about the Big Baraza, which is happening next week on Monday and Tuesday. And at the Big Baraza, anyone who's come, you know that there's bound to be very insightful conversations. There's bound to be lots of networking and many aha moments, like, I didn't know that. And we bring SMEs together, business owners, founders, anyone who has ever had an entrepreneurial idea to just them to the next level. So in today's conversation, we're going to be discussing about tech and business efficiency, harnessing innovation and technology for financial success. I don't think in this era we can talk about business without talking about the power that technology has to take you to the next level. So this is one of the conversations that we're going to be having at the Big Baraza on the first day, as you've had a ticket at JW Marriott, one of the newest happening places in Westlands, Nairobi, is going to be going for 12,000 shillings for one day and 22,000 for the 2 days. This is like a front row seat ticket that gives you access to entrepreneurs and the sharpest business minds that you would never have rubbed shoulders with if you don't come to the Big Baraza. So today we are kicking off this week. We're going to be having these conversations every week, different moderators, different panelists. And today we wanted to kick this conversation off with Kenon Mwiti, and he is one of the Sandbox experts. He is the founder of Mwalimu Biashara and is the investments and wealth management expert at the Sandbox. So as you've heard from Wendy, the Sandbox is, think of it as a doctor's plaza. So you can come in and everybody goes to finance first, because if you sort out your finances, you know how to make your investments, you know how to manage your money, then you are on your way to having a really successful business. So one of the things that Kenon has done in his over 20 years is that he has a rich and diverse background spanning sectors such as ICT, hospitality, and financial services. He has successfully handled finance operations, ICT strategic matters, significantly contributing to identifying value drivers, enhancing profitability, improving efficiency, and optimizing stakeholder returns. He's also a startup investor. So Kenon is active. Kenon, well, as I said, he's a startup investor. He's an active angel investor with investments in food processing, ICT, and education startup funded by Y Combinator. That's a big thing. If you guys know anything about Y Combinator, you know that Ametosha Mboga. So this is a person to speak to. Professional qualifications, he's a fellow member of the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants and Certified Information Systems Auditor. So round of applause for Kenon Mwiti. Hi. And our second panelist for today is Mr. Veera Kumar Natarajan. I'm butchering his name and he's being so kind to me. He is the country head of Zoho Kenya, and he has an extensive background spanning 2 decades in the industry. He has more than 15 years and has been deeply involved in supporting businesses throughout East Africa region with their IT development needs. In his current role, Mr. Veera plays a pivotal role in helping businesses in the region achieve growth through digital transformation, forging local partnerships, and expanding Zoho's footprint throughout East Africa. So I have spoken a lot. You heard my name is Mary Mutanu Gitari. I am a founder of a business called BrandSpark PR. We are the PR experts at the Sandbox, and I'll be your moderator for today. It's so exciting to jump into these conversations about tech and how it can help you accelerate your business, enhance efficiency. And I'll allow the two gentlemen to say hello and how they got into their businesses. So I'll start with you, Kenon. Please tell us if I'm even pronouncing your name correct. Tell us who you are, what you do, and how you came to the Sandbox. Over to you.
Thank you, Mary. Really appreciate that. Thank you for being so kind in the introduction. It's a pleasure to be here tonight talking about tech and efficiency. Just a small background about myself. I'm a trained accountant, and all through I've been intrigued by numbers. I mean, how do you get numbers to tell a story? That has been the work I've done for the last 20 years in corporate. But my entry into Sandbox really is trying to bring these efficiencies to individuals and groups. If we can manage company finances so well, or people's finances very well, what if you can manage our very own? What if you're very clear about where our lives are headed financially? So that's what makes me tick. Hence, the company Mwalimu Biashara, just to empower people into that direction. Sandbox has been a wonderful place just to interact with great minds, great experts. Everything you need is just a phone call away, sometimes even just a desk away, to have a community of people who help you build very many capabilities has been a great pleasure for me. So it was a natural thing for me to fit in Sandbox and interact with people, and great to be here tonight. I presume maybe that's sufficient for an introduction, Mary, but let me know if there's something else you might feel I need to talk about. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Karibu, Mr. Veera, please tell us your journey. How did you get here?
Oh, thanks, Mary. Thanks to Sandbox and arranging this wonderful webinar. I have been a sales and business guy all through my career. That's how I started post my master's, and that's what I've been doing back in India or back in in Africa as well. And the interesting story how I came to Africa is I came with the IT company to recommend. This is about 15 years before. So when PC was still the new something not everyone have seen it. Now PCs or laptops are like, it's part of our day-to-day activity. So those are the days when I started. So since then, I have been in different roles as a sales and marketing guy and the country in charge, regional in charge, and so on. So I have seen enough of business, quite a good amount of businesses across the region, not just in Kenya, in Ethiopia, in Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, to some extent Burundi and DRC as well. All through again, the way Mary had mentioned, I've been recommending right products, maybe promoting something, but most of the time it has been solutions, and it's not just recommending a software, recommending a product. Where what I have been doing is recommending a particular solution for the company. So that's something I have been enjoying it, because when you see the company or the organization uses the solution that we have recommended, and then it's been successful. And I moved to Africa about 15 years back, when I started selling the products. So in Kenya for past 10 years, extensive. I have been traveling in East Africa almost all through my career. With Zoho for past 3 years, this is another very good, interesting experience, because this is where I was able to connect a lot with SMEs. Zoho as a company, the products are meant for SMEs. Of course, later they built more enterprise great products. But even today, a large amount of customers are in SMEs. So this is where I have been interacting with SMEs to a larger extent. And last year I was part of Big Baraza. I mean, I keep hearing about Big Baraza before, and then there are a few other Barazas that are happening, but I've never seen something that well organized as Big Baraza and as big as Big Baraza. And this year we are hoping for, much larger than what has happened last year. If any of you have participated in the event last year, and if you have seen any of you have seen the JW Marriott's ballroom, it's completely a different experience. It's going to be a completely different experience. The big thing that I liked about Big Baraza was the master classes on different the engines, the operational engine, finance engine, sales engine. That was something very interesting, and then that's good. I'm hoping to see something similar and better this year as well. And of course, on top of all this, thanks for bringing me here to talk about tech in business, and then to be more how to enable the tech for a business efficiency. So I'll be more than happy to talk about it. Thank you, Mary.
You're welcome, and thank you so much for sharing a little bit about your journey. And I think you have completely intrigued everybody when you talked about last year's Big Baraza. It was at Movenpick, and yes, we always ensure that every person who comes gets to experience either a masterclass over and above the plenary panel discussions. And this is where you really get to ask your questions and engage with the speakers and even the experts at the Sandbox. So without much more about your personal background, I want to just switch back to the conversation of today. Now, a lot of people might not understand how tech really runs businesses, and maybe we just want to go into a little bit of detail into that. Does having tech run my business what does it look like? Is it me just having a computer? If my entire team has computers, Canon, does that mean we are running efficiently and our business is using tech? Or where does it start really?
Thank you, Mary. So if you look at tech as a subject, of course, for the last 30, 40 years, it's gone through very many ups and downs, but very few. There are some fundamental things that remain about tech. Is the ability to move faster, easier, better, more accurate, more efficiently. To get in your system something you can, leverage on the speed that comes with it. So that has never changed. What would change probably is the technology of the day, or the input, the output, all those things could change. But ideally speaking, tech in itself, it has been a way to help people move faster. Obviously, then it's been one of the fastest growing industries in terms of trends. I mean, before we finish this webinar, there probably could be something new that has come up. I mean, AI is no longer a big thing. I mean, 3 years ago, we didn't know about AI. Today, it is almost being used everywhere. So it's also the speed at which things move in the tech world. Now, a business then can be able to take advantage of that speed, of that capability to create efficiencies. Think about a very rudimentary business. It could be anything. It could be something like knowledge management. You're passing on your skill. Initially, you had to get a curriculum done. You have to seek approvals. You have to get people into a class. You have to mark their papers towards knowledge management, as an example. But today, very many things have come up to help. AI will quickly do your curriculum. All you need to do is tweak it a little bit. Delivery, like we are sitting now, we are in different parts of the world, yet we're able to sit and have this conversation. This is technology enabling the business environment around, say, training as an example. And of course, this can be said about very many businesses, whether it is food processing or it is finance and accounting, like my brother Vera is in. Anything that has come in means businesses are able to move faster, better, quicker, even cheaper, actually, as it were, able to achieve a lot more with technology. So that's how I look at it, Mary, in terms of tech helping business efficiencies. Yeah.
That's really clear. Mr. Vera, do you have just another example, maybe in all the markets that you serve? Because, you know, Kenya is really described as the tech hub of East Africa. Maybe we are, you know, ahead of the curve when it comes to using technology to run our businesses. How is it in other markets? How have you seen just encouraging businesses to use technology to help them scale? What are some examples you can share with us?
Okay, so I'll give you 2 examples as I keep talking about it. Before that, I would like to say, using tech means in our line of business, wherever we go, it is supposed to reduce the monotonous works or automating the routine work. I mean, that's what everyone does. I mean, that's what AI does. That's what the software does, and that makes also this another point is that it's not just automating the monotonous and routine works. It should also make sure that the works are done at a speed and accurately as well, right? So I'll give you 2 examples, on my experience of how the tech can be used. We have one of the customers in Uganda, I can't name, we don't have the approval from them. It's a smaller SME. This lady has a couple of, distribution offices, and then they distribute from those three or 4 different places. And when one of our partner met with them, and then she always complains, and then she tries to live within 100,000 Ugandan shilling, which is about less than 3,000 shilling in a day, in a week or so. So she always believed that she never had money, because what she sees in her hand is very little. But sorry, when we started discussing with her, and then there was no record of anything that they have been doing. So meaning like, yes, whatever they have been receiving the goods, it is manual. Issuing the goods, it's manual. Collection of money or paying to the vendors, it's all has been mostly manual. So when we started implementing our accounting packages, she realized that she actually sitting on a lot of cash in terms of accounts receivables and inventory. So it's a simple thing, but see, as much as there are a lot of people who works on commodity, especially in commodities, spare parts, they are all like how do we put it? They are all drowned into the business, or they are so much focused into the business that they don't really realize that they can scale up the business, or there is a lot of cash flow available. Unless they have a right reporting system, an accurate reporting system, they will not be able to see how the inventory, what is the fast moving inventory, or which inventory that has stuck for more than 60 days, more than 90 days, and more than 120 days, and so on. And the same way for accounts receivables as well. Probably payables, all your vendors will come, will come with a knife. It's already 30 days, 60 days, you'll keep paying them. But are you following it up in the similar way with your customers? Maybe you extend 45 days, but are you able to follow it up on exactly on 45th day, or 60 days or whatever? So that is what happens with the businesses. So once we implemented, and then all the manual data is migrated into our Zoho books. She even bought a pickup van for herself. Until then, she was using a Matatu back home. So now she's a happy woman, and then she's able to. This is a true story. We are trying to get her testimonial, but probably next time when we meet, we can get it done. So this is one extreme of the spectrum where tech can help any businesses to identify where the potential is. The other side, where a large scale businesses who are able to use their sorry, where they are able to automate the key functions. Now imagine when you call ICL line, and then I'm not sure if you're using any of their insurances or any of their products. The call lands, and they used to, before like 3 years or 4 years before, it used to take quite some time, and then there were unanswered calls, and then there were a lot of queries that has never been materialized because there was no system. And then 4 years before is when ICL Line took up on Zoho the whole packages. And then today, when we had our interaction with them last 3-4 months before, they were happy to say that their productivity has gone up. They are not missing any more calls. Maybe their turnaround time has come down a lot. It used to be like 2 days, 3 days some time back. Now it is all well set. If it is not attended to within the time frame, it gets escalated to the bosses and so on. So now they became more focused, and then they are even they are getting even nominated for some of the CEO of the Year award and so on. So it's like the tech can work magic both in small scale businesses, or the big business, the big legacy businesses.
It's really clear. And one of the things we're discussing at the Big Baraza is game changers. That's the entire theme of this year's Big Baraza. So it's Big Baraza, game changers, innovate and thrive. And that's where this conversation is really coming from, because if we do not innovate, the chances of us scaling, the chances of us thriving in these hard economic times are going to be much more limited. And so I just want even Kenon to come and talk about as an individual, because we're looking at game changers from a 360 perspective. We're looking at ideas that are making the game completely different. We're looking at solutions that have come in and are giving everybody in the competition a run for their money. We're looking at people who, just by the way they think, they are game changers. And these are the guys who are going to be at the Big Baraza 4.0, as we call it. And we want you to interact with them. So please check on our question section. We will share with you where you can access the tickets, where you can actually find out more information on who's on the lineup. And I want Kenon to just come in and speak about, what about the individual? This one person who wants to use technology to enhance not just their business, but their way of thinking, their way of tackling challenges that come into their lives. Do you have some examples of game changers like yourself who've leveraged technology to just change the playing field?
Yeah, thank you, Mary. For sure, that's a very relevant question, because behind every organization, behind every group is an individual. And then the group becomes a sum total of the individuals around it. So as rightly put, we have skewed our thinking towards the individual market. The one person, whether it's a mamamboga lady somewhere, or a CEO somewhere, or a marketer. So in terms of game-changing ideas, we've observed the trends which happen with people and their finances. So if you've taken time to observe what are these behavioral things that people struggle with when managing their finances, It could be what options are they exposed to in terms of building their wealth. It could be what products are available in the market to help them enhance their financial goals. So all these questions I've grappled in. We even have people who actually live in fear. We've had clients who've walked up to our doors and they say they don't like looking at their bank accounts. They fear looking at their bank accounts. And when you listen to that person, really, it is fear driving them. It is uncertainty. It is sometimes lack of knowledge and information. So when you collapse all those things, we thought, what you can use technology to help people manage their finances. Now, it's more than just giving a budgeting tool. It's more than just telling people, this is the investment that will give you the highest return. As a matter of fact, what has come out clearly is it is less of head knowledge. It's not what we know. It's actually how we behave with money. And so the discussion has gone around, how do we help people with their behavioral habits around money? Why don't we do the things we intend to do? Or on the flip side, then we do the ones that we don't need to do. Someone gets a bonus of some sorts, and 3 months later, they are so sure they didn't lose the money from theft, they didn't lose the money from careless spending, but they have no idea specifically where the money went to. Now, we've combined all that to create solutions to help people do that. We have products in the market. We have an app in the market. It's called My Treasure Chest. And it's designed really to help people take a step forward. It comes with a difference because it tracks your behavior at every click. Obviously, there's all things about permissions and rights and data protection, all that is taken care of. But you can imagine that anytime you make an M-Pesa transaction, as an example, there's a way to track it back to the app, and it maps that within a budget. So I know I've spent 3,000 shillings this evening doing something, but where does it sit where my budget is concerned? Where does it sit where my financial goals are concerned? So to have a tool that helps you do that, then starts increasing your own efficiency as an individual. You start making small goals. You say, fine, my intention is to probably save up and start a business, or save up and buy a car, save up and take my children to school. And you start making those baby steps towards doing that. And we don't operate in isolation. The idea is to partner with many organizations and create connections and synergies such that the whole experience is wholesome. We don't intend to probably do everything in the world, but at least the bit that we do is to help people craft their money behaviors in a way that technology actually works for you. I've seen people spend a lot of time just going through games, and there's nothing wrong with that. Or scrolling through your phone and doing many things that are entertainment value, and there's nothing wrong with that. But my question is, what even in addition to that, on your own phone, you can have something that helps you reach your financial goals? Then that gives us the reason to take Mary as an example. And for us, we are happy to bring such efficiencies in people's lives to manage their personal finances.
I love that you've even brought in the concept of goals and setting objectives for yourself from a personal perspective and also to grow. I wonder, Mr. Vera, when you are sharing your solutions to SMEs, what are the ways that you help them to identify what solution they need? Because you have so many. It's a suit. We talk about the Zoho business suite. Maybe you can just help us to crack what these tools are and how you are able to match somebody's needs. Because if I'm in the creative sector, what tool do I need? If I'm in the agricultural sector, you talked about inventory. So I'm imagining maybe that's retail. But there's so many people who come to the Sandbox and to Big Baraza who are in so many other sectors. How do you help people to match their needs with the specific automation tool that they require?
Thanks, Mary, again. See, every business has few pillars, when they want to run their business successfully. When we say pillars, these are the different departments. You take any company, any industry, they are into manufacturing, they are into agri-tech or agriculture, the companies that are into consulting or even PR. You will have your core functionality, or say agriculture, it is farming and stuff. So that's their core. If you are taking manufacturing, manufacturing is core technology, core activity. But around that, you will also have some of these things. Say, for example, every or almost all these industries, I'm talking in general, not specific to any particular industry. Almost all of them will have to have finances to be managed, right? So they have transactions in terms of goods received, goods sold, accounts receivables, accounts payables, at least the basics, right? I'm not even going for the budgeting, forecasting, cash flow management, and so on, but at least even the basics. Each and every SME has to have something like that. Even if they don't have, even if they don't want anything else to be digitalized, this is some area I believe most of them would like to have it, right? So let's say finance is one pillar, right? And then every organization again will have some kind of a sales and marketing activities. Maybe a PR agency probably will have a lot of marketing activities more than a sales activity. Sorry, maybe an SME trading company, probably they will have a lot of sales activity and less of marketing activity. And maybe somebody into services, they will have, yes, they will have some customers, sales, all that, but probably they will want to keep up, retain their existing customers. They will have more of a services activity kind of a thing, right? So we have sales, marketing, and customer retention, depending on different industry, different product or services they deal with. So now we have finances, we have sales and marketing, and customer support. The same way, we will also have some companies will be as much as they have their own unique product or unique services, they will also be what do we call as the employee intensive. There will be a lot of human resource intensive. Say, for example, let's take restaurants, right? Restaurants, they need the staff, their kitchen and all that, plus probably they will need to have like 10-15 people attending to different customers, and then taking care of inventory back at the kitchen and so on, right? So there has to be, probably they would need a system to manage the employees in terms of their timesheet. Probably they are not paid monthly, they are paid on how many hours they worked, probably on the time sheets, and then attendance, maybe somebody wants to have a leave and so on. So they need a system to manage the human resource part of it. So we have finances, we have sales and marketing, we have human resource as well. And then most of the organizations these days, leave alone the typical SMEs, but there are a lot of consultancy firms, a lot of PR firms, a lot of advertising, a lot of digital services company, where they definitely need something on the collaborative tools, right? So maybe a restaurant or a garage doesn't need a mail or Zoho meeting stuff, but probably an online consultancy would need a proper tool in terms of a website, a mail, maybe a proper drive to store all the customer data and everything, and maybe a CRM to manage everybody, and a meeting tool, the online office tool. They would need everything. So we call that as a collaborative tools. So we provide applications to manage each and every function of this. So we have we have like 5 or 6 products that would help to manage the entire finance activities. The same way, we will have another about 9 products or 10 products which will help a customer to manage the sales and marketing activities, and 4 products to manage their HR activities, and then about 7-8 products to manage the collaborative tools. So depending on the customers, we talk to them, we understand where is the pain point. Not everybody wants to go on to HR management software to start with. Probably most of the SMEs would look at, okay, fine, can we have an accounting package, right? I don't need an inventory, I don't need expenses management and all that, but I just need an accounting package. So we just provide the Zoho Books, the basic solutions. And then I'll give you another extreme example. And then before that, there are consultancy firms who are looking at only the collaborative tools. Okay, they need a website, they need email, and so on. So we provide only those tools. So we don't, push everything. Now there is one interesting company. I'm still waiting for their name to be used, but they are into selling on coffee beans and coffee powders online. Okay, and it's a like two people company. When they were using like 10 different products, they were using HubSpot customer management, they had some invoicing tool, they had some they had used something to build a website and all that. And again, one of our partner introduced our Zoho One, which has everything. So this customer, they started building the website using Zoho sites. And once the website is up and running, they added a lot of marketing tools. It's called the chatbot, to identify how many people are visiting and so on. There is something called page sense, and then they link that to a CRM. So whenever somebody clicks on something or they put some inquiry on chatbot, it comes into the CRM, and then they set up a desk, the ticketing system, and so on. So in this way, today they have set up the whole office. They are just two people. Imagine. Earlier they used to have Excel sheet, they used to have some HubSpot, some like 10 different softwares. Now they are just using Zoho, but Zoho One, almost like about 17, 18 different products from Zoho services. And they are like two people, they are managing the entire show. They are almost in the verge of break even. And the other thing, probably we will pick up the next point on the costing. Thanks to our costing, I mean, they did not spend so much money. They were able to manage the entire office online, their online business with a very few thousands of ceilings, and just with two people. And probably that's again another success story. Maybe during Big Barasa, I will see if I can bring that entrepreneur, and then I'll introduce to the team as well. So it's like, this is how we go about it. We identify which pillar needs, which is more critical for that particular customer, and then we go about it.
Wow, I mean, it completely sounds like, it sounds so doable, because the pain of every founder, every entrepreneur is that at some point I'm going to grow, and as we meet different people, we kind of fix for ourselves these solutions, and it feels like patchwork. And I'm hearing you say that, if you are able to work with somebody who can help you to identify the challenges that you have, and even help you plan 2-3 years into the future, so that you're planning for your takeoff and your growth, then it becomes a little bit easier, and you can focus on your core business. I like what you said about every business has its core functions. And if you are spending so much time doing something that is non-core, then it's still stealing a lot of time from what you should be focusing on. So the example you gave about, and I completely relate, where somebody has built your website, but you still have to go to the back end to extract the data, put it on Excel, send it to another app to send emails and tell them about what it is you're doing, use another app to post stories on Instagram and all the other platforms to tell people about you. It can be very exhausting and take a lot of time from the entrepreneur. And these are the things that are what we want to focus on in the Big Barasa, like those turnkey solutions that can just help you so that you can be unburdened and focus on your core business. And I like what even Kenon is talking about, wealth management. That is a big thing where you're given a check and then you don't know where the money went. And I think my question to you, Kenon, is where does somebody start? Yes, they're coming to come and see you at the Big Barasa. But if I know one of the professions that suffers a lot is doctors. Their business is cash based, and every consultation is 5,000 to 10,000 shillings, and there's somebody writing a receipt there. And there's so many ways that they can automate. But if they came to you, what would you tell them? So there's the individual part where they go through their own assessment of what goals they want to have when it comes to their money habits, but also as a business, what solutions are you offering them? And I mean, at some point we'll talk about costs, but give us a process of engagement. How can somebody engage you?
That's great. I'll give maybe what I consider a very simple roadmap as expected, it will be very broad. It may not apply the individual to the cent, but generally speaking, you start by planning. I start by planning, and I always say you can make today the first day of your plan. Whatever is behind you, that's behind you. You can only take that as a lesson. Now, planning has a name, and it's called budgeting. Now, most people, when they hear the word budget, they kind of don't like it. They feel that I don't know if my voice is okay or my internet is fine, but you let me know. But when people hear a budget, maybe you can hear me, I take it. I'm not sure if my network is okay.
Keep going. We can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now we can't hear you. Let's give him a minute to just reconnect. But maybe, Mr. Vera, you could tell us your process. How do people find you? Of course, they have to come to the Big Baraza to meet you physically, but we've seen lots of billboards on our streets talking about Zoho, and we just need a little bit of a understanding of how to engage with you officially.
Okay, so we officially engaging with, end of the day, we are all business people. So if somebody says, hey, I'm in Thika, can you please come down and then meet us? We'll just drive there, and then we can sit with them, talk about the product, do a demo and everything. But I'll just give you an idea of how our onboarding, or the complete what we call as the sales process or customer engagement happens. First thing first, as one of the we are a GDPR compliant company. So one of the privacy, again, thanks to GDPR, and then even our founders, they don't really want to get into the privacy of the individual. So one of the good thing is that we don't make outbound calls. Like, okay, fine, I see, Sandbox as a company here, maybe I'll find a number, I'll call them, and then I'll try and, find out the right IT guy, I will go pitch in. No, that's something that we don't do it. So the right way we try and engage is, yes, we participate in events like Big Baraza, we try and meet with many people, and then word of mouth, and then somebody calls us, only then we engage. So people has to call us or people has to mail us, and only then we call back or we mail, and then we start engaging with them. So we don't just go knocking the doors and then disturbing people. That's something I love about this job, because when I started, it was all cold calls. So really I love right now that, okay, I don't have to make any cold calls, all the leads come onto the desk. So that's the initial point. And then once we have a big team of pre-sale engineers who will
join live. Okay. Mary, can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you. Just allow Mr. Vera to finish, and then you'll come in.
Okay, thank you.
So we do have pre-sale engineers who are the tech guys who understand the tech, and then who also knows the sales part of it. So they talk to the customer, they sit with them, understand, okay, this is your pain point. So these are the recommended products. And then we do a demo of like, this is how it's going to work. And then, so this is only the beginning. Now the customer is convinced, but obviously now they would ask, okay, how much do I have to pay so that, I can start, trying out the product. No, then we say, no, you don't have to pay anything, do the trial. And then that's what we call as the proof of concept. So we give them 15 days, 30 days time, depending on the product and depending on the number of people they are using, they are going to use the product. And so they sign up, then we still engage. So let's say they sign up for a CRM tool. CRM is the sales process is not standardized across the industries. Even the same industry like insurance companies, but there are two different companies. They have their own sales process, and the automation, the checks and balances are different for different companies. So we help them to customize the way they want to have it, and then they experience it. They load some dummy data, and then we help them to load the data. At the back end, we help them to set it up. We train them how to use it, and then we train the users and so on. Once they are convinced, until then, we don't ask them to buy. They're not convinced, they do the trial and then they go away without spending any money. Of course, they would have spent some time using the product. And after that only they make the payment. Again, payment is either monthly or annually, again, number of users. So probably they have like 10 people in sales, but they are not very sure if everybody can use the product. So they say, okay, fine, I want to start with 3 people. They start with 3, and then they feel they see the results. Okay, fine, we are able to see the sales reports and customer base, the lead, and so on. And then they add the more number of people. So it's like very flexible. The way I said at the beginning of my my speech, like, I'm happy that we are able to provide the right solution. When we provide a solution to the customer, and then they feel happy, and then you are happy that the solution that you provided works for them the right way they wanted it. It's not like, even as much as it works, it's financially viable for the companies to start small and then keep adding more people, or start monthly and then go yearly, or start trial for a few days and few months and then buy it. So we try and make sure that the customers or the potential customers are comfortable, they get the full knowledge, they get a better experience before they actually pay for it.
That's a fantastic sales strategy. Over to you, Kenon.
Yeah, sincere apologies. I think my network cocked up, but here we are. Yeah, I was actually bringing out the first question you asked. How do you start the whole process? You gave an example of a doctor who's getting a lot of money, but somehow they need to find a working place to start. I was talking about planning. Planning is very essential, and planning has a name. In personal finance, it has a name, and the name is called budgeting. Now, sometimes when clients hear budgeting, they get the wrong feel. They're thinking, now you're coming to dictate my life. Now you're coming to stop me from doing what I want to do. But far from it. A budget really is a way of telling your money where it should go. In the example of the doctor who's booking consultancy fees of 5,000, 10,000, they see 10 clients that day, that's 50,000, Bob. Now, starting with a plan, the goals that I want to achieve, you first start by saying, what are my basic needs? Let me make sure I meet those. I'm able to pay my bills. And that's very basic. Whatever is left over, then what can I use what can I use it for? You could get into an investment plan that helps you advance your life. Back to budgeting, because human beings are we are social creatures. We always recommend that you have a small amount called a personal allowance. We actually call it no questions asked amount. This is a bit where you enjoy your life. Everybody has a way of enjoying life. And sometimes that helps you then realize, I've finished enjoying. It has a number. It is 200 or 2,000 or 20,000, whatever the number is. But that gives you the comfort to know now whatever else is left, I really have to get it to the right places. Now, something else we say is, once you have a budget, then when your money comes, spend it in 2 days. Just spend it in 2 days. Now you get that kind of confidence by knowing where it should go. The money that helps you is not the money in your pocket. It's the money that has actually done what it was intended to do. Again, behavior, human beings. If we have money in the pocket, it turns out kutoka pole pole, slowly by slowly. It kind of gets its own life. But if you have no money in your pocket and you've put it in either in an investment plan or an insurance product or in a savings or in a business, then you don't have it in your pocket. It kind of even enables you to think about, where else can I get money? We bring the aspect of multiple streams of income, and you start thinking, now that I've done that, what is the next step? And you build your life step by step. That could be maybe a blueprint, basically of how to do it, but then also not to forget the aspect of risk. You need to protect your money because there's a it can actually get lost. There's some investments that will lose your money very fast. There are sometimes, if you don't have the right insurance products, then a small misfortune, then you really, like the other day, there was flooding in this country. What do you do if your business floods? If you're not prepared for such a catastrophe, then it actually can set you back a few steps. So once you have your basic place, you're making your money, you're growing your money, and you're protecting your money, could be a good blueprint to use, Mary.
I like that you brought in risks because our country is currently going through a very hard time. A lot of businesses are not sure whether we are closing or we are open, or a lot of automation must go into this. Mr. Vera, I want you to just talk about, how automation helps when it comes to overcoming challenges, unforeseen challenges like the ones we're having now.
It's not just automation, even the continuity of work or continuity of business, right? So there are businesses, especially hospitals and so on, but probably the doctors will be able to available. They might be available, but maybe not the receptionist, and then less active staffs. But still, they have to contribute to the work. They have to manage, make sure that the doctors' bookings are properly managed, and so on. And the same goes for the traders currently, people in trading business. That's the worst affected when this kind of a protest happens around. So maybe they have the goods, they still have to keep doing, sending the price list, be it sending the price list or talking to their customers, or having a guys like us, where we have some potential customers, a lot of them, who hope that maybe in another month or two, the problems will be sorted out. And probably this is the right period where they can, identify one of the software to start using it as and when they're back to work. So how do we engage with them? So it's like the automation, hybrid mode of work, remote work, all that I believe tech can help to a larger extent. Again, back to to start with the automation, there are chatbots with specific responses. So to a larger extent, now if the chatbot is well customized, probably a customer can go chat with them and then choose the product, make the payment, and then come out of it. So that's also possible with the chatbot. So even if the sales guys are not able to attend to the customer physically, the chatbot can help with that. The same way for remote work, whatever we are doing right now, the similar way customers can be met at least online, and then we can engage with them. So all that can be done during the unforeseen activities. I believe tech is, that's what we have been doing during COVID as well. COVID is the period where what introduced us to the hybrid mode of work, right? And then that is one of the high period, just to give the perspective, when globally, when every company or almost all the companies were slowing down their businesses, cutting costs, the companies that made money was, who are able to help with hybrid mode of work. It can be the video conferencing, Zoom. Those are the 3-4 years that Zoom went like zoom in terms of revenue, and reaching out, helping the customers to connect with helping the companies to connect with their customers and vendors. So tech is something that we cannot avoid. Probably this is something that we should all embrace during this tough times.
I agreed. Couldn't have said it any better. Do you want to add anything, Kenon? And then I'm seeing time has gone so fast, and it's just like we started this conversation a few seconds ago. I just want to invite you to talk about the country's situation and how businesses that are automated already are seeing, what benefits are they seeing compared to their counterparts who are still waiting to automate?
Yeah, thank you, Mary. For sure, our country is going through a difficult time. There's no doubt about that. What you're seeing are really it's a different season, as it were. But that aside, it's a reality that businesses and individuals are having to deal with. Already, there are employers who are saying we need to start adopting a work from home every time there's a strike or there's perceived demonstrations happening. Schools are closing and saying we're in exams, but unfortunately we can't come to school tomorrow. So it's a reality that we are facing as a country. Now, the businesses then still have to run. Life has to move on. And I think Vera has alluded to what happened during the COVID season. It kind of opened possibilities. And this can also come in as a very good way of business continuity in terms of if your technology is in place. As much as things may not go 100% as you'd have wanted, maybe you have to reschedule some meetings, some of your suppliers maybe are affected by what's going on, or your customers, you don't grind to a halt. You have a way to keep on going. Okay, and that preparedness is actually what we're putting on. We're putting up today. It's a practical reality that if you have a way to continue communicating, if you have a way to continue reaching your customers, you have a way to continue reaching, passing on your value and your solutions to your customers, you have a way to reach your suppliers in terms of supply chain, then you, as a business, you start really enjoying firsthand what technology does to your business, even in times of uncertainty. Now, when you couple this with the fact that you may not even be clear how far this will go, so then that uncertainty starts to create tensions. Okay, but again, you quickly run to your technological investments. How well are you able to operate? How well are you able to at least keep going to make the basics work, to make employees continue giving you the value, to make your customers still, they have a way of reaching you. Okay, and I think in this time our country is facing this, it's real opportune for us to test the kind of technologies we have. And for sure, with the Big Brother coming up, with efficiencies at the Sandbox Center, these are things that have solutions. Vera is here talking about Zoho. It's a wonderful solution. I'm an accountant, so I can feel him when he's talking about accounts receivable, accounts payable, and being able to do it from home. It's a big thing. So yes, it is a very good discussion happening. Scary, but there is a solution to it, Mary.
Those are joining us online, joining us just here on this platform, you are welcome to ask any questions so that we can have these two gentlemen address them. And more than that, you are welcome to come to the Big Baraza, the JW Marriott, on 29th and 30th of July, which is next week, Monday and Tuesday. Ticket sales are ongoing, and this conversation is far from over. We haven't even talked about the impact of AI on businesses. We haven't talked about pitfalls of incorporating technology too quickly into your business. There's a lot that we are going to be talking about, and we want you to secure your spot at the Big Baraza so that you can hear this firsthand. You can come in and even have a clinic, basically a 101 session, an audit session done on your business, so that you can ask yourself, what goals am I setting for myself? What technology do I need to adopt into my business so that I can grow? It's actually a data point that companies in Africa can see up to 20 to 30% improvement in efficiency once they begin to see the benefits of automation and integrating tech. And that is a bottom line, it's a revenue line, such that the examples that have been given here, you're a doctor, you automate, suddenly you're able to see more money going into the places that you want it to go based on your goals. You are in whatever sector, just removing the manual labor from it and the mundane tasks will help you. So it's not just using ChatGPT, ladies and gentlemen. It is more than that. It's about making your business responsive to customer needs through tech. And we expect it now. So as we wrap up, I want to just ask both Kenon and Mr. Vera to give their parting shot, something tantalizing that will make everybody want to just click on that buy ticket button on the Big Baraza website so that they can come and hear you. We'll start with you, Mr. Vera, and then go to Kenon, who is part of the Sandbox.
Okay, thanks again. So for those who has been a regular to Big Baraza, you guys know about the event, but probably we will have some two big announcements during this from our side. We will be talking about e-teams, for a much more affordable for SMEs and details of that. And of course, we have not even talked about costing, how the product should be costing, how much should any product cost, how effective should it be there so that SMEs can adopt the products? I think those are something we are keeping it for Big Baraza Day. So yes, and if you have never been to Big Baraza, leave alone these product announcements, but you would love it. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're an SME, you are trying to make money you're trying to make things work for you, I believe this is the right place to come in. Please be there. I'll see you next week.
You've heard Mr. Vera will be there in person to give you rates, and he has 2 announcements he wants to make. So don't miss your chance to meet him. Mr. Kenon Bai, please tell us one thing that would make all feet come to JW Marriott next week.
Thank you, Mary. For me, the amazing thing is a group of experts in one room, and other in terms of the Sandbox experts, and even people like Vera and other partners who've joined this conversation. To have them in a room for 2 days is extremely valuable. It's actually actually almost impossible to do that elsewhere. That for 2 days you have access to expertise, you have access to, I can dare say, almost any question in your business answered. For me, that is priceless. Now, when you look at how much the cost is, it's 20,000 shillings for 2 days. Every time I listen to a figure, there are 2 ways to look at it. 20,000 can seem a lot of money, but when you go past that and see, so how much value are you getting from it? Okay, you can come in and you get a solution that makes you 10, 20 times of that amount before the end of the year. You can get insights that point you to the right direction. You can get partners like Zoho who come and tell you, look, you've been struggling with your business this way. What if you approach it this way? And it's already spoken about baby steps you can take. So for me, Mary and Vera, it is the magic of having all this information in one room and ready to serve you. You click and pay the 20,000. It is worth that investment.
I couldn't have said it any better. Ladies and gentlemen, see you tomorrow. We're having yet another conversation that is going to be even bigger and better. And we are so grateful because of our 2 panelists today. They've just touched very, very, very iceberg conversations on what it means for you to harness technology so that you can improve your business efficiency and all that to increase how much money is coming into your pocket. So thank you so much for joining us. I've been your host, your moderator, Mary Mutanu Gitari of Brandspark PR and of the Sandbox. Please check us out on bigbaraza.co.ke for more information on how you can get your ticket for the Big Baraza. And this video is actually on YouTube. If those people who did not catch our first conversation, the people who you know who wanted to listen to this but they didn't get a chance, please share the link so that they can play it back and get all these amazing nuggets. Bye and see you tomorrow. Bye.